right. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to our midweek meditation brought to you by Soul Center. And for those of you who may not know, maybe you're streaming in for our meditation for the very first time. And we are a trans-denominational interfaith spiritual community located right here in Irvine. And we do a midweek meditation service where we commune with the divine in a way that is perfect and right for each of us individually. And as we prepare to move into that space of grace and divine illumination, I'm just going to ask everybody who's here in the sanctuary in person, if you have a cellular device, if you could just make sure that it is either off or in meditation mode. And for those of you streaming in live, welcome once again, and you might want to just put your device in Do Not Disturb as we prepare to move into Do Not Disturb. And as we begin, as always, we'll start with our reading and our evocation.
Thank you, Rev. Good evening. My name is Lynn Schenke. Our reading tonight is from Your Faith is Your Fortune by Neville. You cannot force anything outwardly by the mightiest efforts of the will. There is only one way to command the things you want, and that is by assuming the consciousness of the things desired. There is a vast difference between feeling a thing and knowing it intellectually. You must accept without reservation the fact that by possessing, feeling a thing in consciousness, you have commanded the reality that causes it to come into existence in concrete form. You must be absolutely convinced of an unbroken connection between the invisible reality and its visible manifestation. Your inner acceptance must become an intense, unalterable conviction which transcends both reason and intellect, renouncing entirely any belief in the reality of externalization except as a reflection of an inner state of consciousness. When you really understand and believe these things, you will have built up so profound a certainty that nothing can shake you. Let us turn within in prayer. How grateful I am to be here tonight. Looking forward to this beautiful meditation. I'm so grateful for my beautiful soul family at Soul Center. Grateful for this safe place to worship and open my consciousness and expand my soul, expand my mind, my heart. I'm grateful for all of it. I'm grateful to know and to recognize that God is the one source and supply. God is the creator of the universe. How great thou art. I know that this living, loving energy is all there is. It is whirling and swirling all around me each and every day. I know that as I step into this energy field, this beautiful, loving existence is just unfolding perfectly before me. I know that I am one with the Creator, one with God. I know that each one of us here is one with God. What a place to rest our knowingness, knowing this oneness, the allness, the newness, the nowness. It is right here and right now. I am blessing the service tonight, knowing that it is the perfect evening, that each one of us is here for the reason that our soul is wanting to expand. It brought us here tonight. And I know that as Reverend Keith guides us through this beautiful meditation, each one of us is uplifted and expanding our consciousness, expanding our energy field, our love, our light, to share it with the world. I know that each one of us is a beneficial presence on the planet. I'm blessing each and every one of us here, each and every one of us watching, blessing everyone behind the scenes, and especially blessing Reverend Keith as he takes us through this meditation tonight. And so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Lynn. And again, welcome to our meditation service. As we get ready to move into the stillness, just a couple reminders. There are different lineages and different ways, pathways, and practices for meditation that are utilized around the world. there's visioning meditations or meditations of inquiry where you ask a question and then you allow yourself to be available to the answer, not in a intellectual way, but in an observational way. There's meditations of movement that integrate those eternal frequencies with the physical body, and there's meditations of mantra or activation that allow a particular frequency of the eternal to have its way in your awareness. I want to experience just pure joy or pure harmony, and you kind of allow yourself to be immersed in that, which is paradoxically always there. Those are the eternal frequencies. So imagine every day that you wake up, all that comes to you is inspired thinking. It's fresh, it's new, it's delicious, and every choice you have to make, where you're going to go, who you're going to encounter, what you're going to do, you feel this inspired presence within you, and everything is always leading you to something magnificent. If you just feel an impulse to drive down a particular way, and it takes you to something that you just couldn't imagine in terms of a grand adventure. You're going out to eat, and you just go to the place that is just so all-envelopingly delicious in food and delicious in environment. You're getting ready to go on some grand adventure, maybe a vacation somewhere, and you just feel like, oh, this is what's calling me, and everything about it, every decision you make, from what airline and what destination and what activities and what clothing to bring, everything's there. You might even put stuff in your suitcase that you think like, well, why would I be taking that? And then you get there and you're like, oh, that's why that's there. Just everything is like just a clarity beyond a clarity. Now, we've all experienced it in one way or another, where you just feel like there's something, and you just know that you know that you know, and in every part of your beingness knows that this is the thing to do. And that's not the exception. That's actually the natural way of being. But when our surface mind and our subconscious mind collude together to participate in the carnal or temporal energies of the world, listening to what's going on in the news, what's going on in politics, what's going on in such and such in the media or this or that, we can be tempted to believe that these temporal energies that are mostly reflections of other people's experiences mean something to us. And there is a part of the collective consciousness, and then there's part of our individualized consciousness. And when we master our individualized consciousness, then the collective consciousness just becomes absolute gravy in terms of how we are able to interact, because it awakens your divine sensorium. When your individual consciousness is so acutely awake and available, you can sense the absolute truth that lies beneath everything, and then the clarity that goes beyond the right place to eat and the right place to go. It's the right thing to say or not say. And when we have that level of clarity, where has anybody ever had the experience where you said something and it triggered somebody and then they got really upset? Has anybody ever had that? Imagine that such a level of awareness that it's kind of like, I think the closest thing I can imagine is maybe a parent who has become so acutely aware of a newborn, an infant, where you have to learn their language because they can't speak yet. And so you start to have to really lean into your intuitive capabilities, and then you start to feel what's beyond the surface. And that's kind of where we go. And so if you could imagine everybody having interactions like that with everybody, where you just are able to say or not say, usually couples. And it's like when a couple has an argument, I was like, oh, they know how to push on that button. But imagine it was like you not only didn't push on the button, because you're not going into an avoidance, I'm going to avoid the button. you're going to be the person that says the most inspired, most beautiful thing, or doesn't, or just gives the look or the feeling, where they're like, they feel relief and healing, and they feel seen and heard and loved and adored, and then the button dissolves. That's just a really wonderful thing. So as we prepare to move into meditation, we're going to focus on spiritual selfishness. Spiritual selfishness is very selfless, because in spiritual selfishness, as I allow myself to steep in magnificence, everything and everyone around me wins as a byproduct of that. And so spiritual selfishness means we get to kind of connect with our passion, our desire, and whether you hear every word I say or you don't hear a word I say, the most important thing, because I'm going to center us, then we're going to stay in the stillness, then we're going to come out in a wave of prayer. The most important thing is that however you experience the best expression of meditative magnificence is all that matters. That's all that matters. And the good news is that the byproducts are wellness, peace, clarity, goodness, harmony. Those are all the side effects, unfortunately, of really good meditation. So I'm just going to invite you to be comfortable. Sit however you like to sit. Some meditation practices ask that you sit in a particular way or hold a particular mudra or asana. Here we say, whatever feels right and good to you. I'm going to throw out a couple intentions, as I always do. One is that all the channels and all the meridians of our physical, emotional, mental bodies are wide open to the eternal frequencies, that you may not only feel them flowing, but also we're going to give it permission to expand. Most of us have a baseline divine energy quotient, where on a good day I go out here, oh my God, and then I come back, and then on a bad day it's like, and then I come back. But I'm just going to invite us to imagine it goes like we just allow it to get bigger and better. And the good news is you don't really have to do anything except just agree. And then the other intention would be nothing is going to distract us. Nothing from the outside world, nothing from the inner world. We are going to be undistracted by anything temporal and only available to that which is eternal. And eternal is only good. And then final, I'm just going to offer one more intention, that we're going to let this be the best, the most delicious, the most profound, the most deep, the most high, the most inspiring meditation ever. We'll just allow that to be. When you give it permission, it will be. The rest will be self-explanatory, and I'm just going to invite you as we bring down the lights here, and for those of you at home, you might want to dim your lights as well, the outer ones. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to let the inner one rise and shine, as we are now ready to begin. We begin by first giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves in our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we invite, as we evoke, and as we allow the divine, eternal frequencies of peace and beauty, joy and love, harmony and clarity to wash over us and to rise up from within us, knowing we have no place to go. We have nothing to do except surrender into the deepest states of grace, rejuvenation, relaxation, and revelation. I invite you to solely through intention, no efforting, allow your breath, your breathing to gently and slowly become deeper, fresher, wider, as we allow ourselves to be enveloped in the radiance of timelessness and spaciousness, letting go of all density and allowing freedom and light to expand in our awareness. Every cycle of breathing becoming fresher and deeper, all on its own. Let me take a moment as you begin to feel waves of angelic light cascading over us and tingling within us. Imagine all the cells, the millions, billions of cells in your body temple are beginning to illuminate like golden glitter. The photons are simply illuminated, and you can feel that light as it begins to tingle in your toes, the arches of your feet, your heels and ankles. It is simply relaxation, soothing, softening, and strengthening as it rises up through your calves and shins. You can feel these eternal frequencies dissolving, evaporating any tension or tightness. As that energy makes its way into your knees, kneecaps, hamstrings and thighs, and from your feet to your hips, you can feel the light. There's luminosity and weightlessness flooding your legs and beginning to swirl around in the hips, the base of your spine and root, flooded with a phosphorescence of weightlessness and luminosity. Waves of safety, courageousness, flood and swirl and rise into your lower belly and lower back as your sacrum and all the organs from your kidneys to your spinal column and stomach flood with balance and harmony. No efforting, just allowing, observing, as the energy makes its way up, spiraling and rising into your solar plexus, as the pancreas and adrenals return to homeostasis. Calm is expanding, and beauty is rising as we bring our awareness to our heart. And the heart center begins to expand. Divine strength and love dissolving, evaporating any sadness or betrayal. And you can feel a fortification of joy flooding your chest and rising from your shoulder blades into your shoulders. The freedom continues to amplify and ripple and roll out from your physical body into the emotional body. Waves of light, luminosity and weightlessness. Flood the emotions with compassion as the divine strength expands. And you can feel the energy making its way into your mental body. The surface mind, letting go of thinking and thoughts. And you can feel time evaporating. The past releasing. The future dissolving. And the present fully merging with the presence. And you begin to feel the energy of your bliss body. And remember the eternal frequencies that are always radiating. And we give permission to allow it to fortify all muscles, bones, tissues, and joints. And in the mind, the fortification shows up as clarity, optimism, and insight attuned only to providence, the truth. To the passion and desires of the soul. Eternality. The benevolence, the innocence, the purity of inspiration. And every cycle of breathing takes us deeper and higher into divine illumination, the wisdom of the Absolute. And it is here that we allow this energy full permission for it to expand as we rest, rejuvenate, and relax in the stillness. Feel our breath going even deeper and higher in freshness as the intimacy of beauty and grace expands. You bring your awareness to that which we call the true self, the higher self, the eternal self, the energy of your soul, your divine nature, Feel the innocence. Feel the purity. Allow yourself to remember and feel who you truly are. Beyond gender, name, age, beyond race or nationality. Just feel your divine self, the angelic light of your true being. Become aware of any colors or symbols or sensations. Just observing the purity of your eternal light. I invite you to become aware of that which we call passion, or the soul's desire, that which brings joy to your heart and life. Allow yourself to be benevolently vulnerable and available. The divine idea at this particular point of your life, all that fortifies, glorifies, I invite you to become aware of the energy of creation, the same energy right now, those illuminating stars, some of which are birthing or collapsing. The energy of creation that can erupt a volcano from under the ocean and form an island. That same energy that brought our body into form is seeking to bring that which fulfills your heart, desires, benevolently, joyfully. Just become aware of that energy as it merges, converges, uninhibited. A contagion of wellness, a contagion of peace, flourishing and nourishing throughout your body, emotions and mind. A new level of clarity and optimism. A more intimate experience of knowing beyond the ego that you deserve the best. And so we take a moment and acclimate, reacclimate. And as we do, we remember the truth. And that which we call the universe, whether we call it Jehovah, Yahweh, the Creator, the One, Dios, Allah, Adonai, God, is omniamorous, all-loving, has never judged, has never withheld, and it is everywhere. In every breath we breathe, sound we hear, we open to that grace, that intelligence, that power that birthed us, each and every one of us, in its image and likeness. And that is the purity of our eternal being that has never been hurt or harmed. And from our human standpoint, we return to the beginning. We give permission and allow that energy to amplify and magnify only good. And I'm truly grateful to know that there is no efforting anywhere throughout all of life. In our human experience, we may have experienced efforting. But the palm tree does not effort to sprout, even through the crack in the sidewalk, and grow. There's no efforting. There's no efforting for snow to form glaciers, or for rain to fill with rivers and lakes. There's no efforting for the migration of the butterflies from Canada to Mexico. It is with elegance and ease. We acquiesce to this great truth, knowing that as we move into what we call meditation, we've returned to the ultimate reality, the real reality. And we allow these eternal frequencies, these divine energies, to continue to expand. Even as we come back into a lucid state of divine awareness. I invite you to feel that effervescence, that phosphorescence, that chi, that life force flowing down through your crown, shoulders, throat, heart, through your stomach, adrenals, solar plexus, sacrum and root, down through your legs and feet. And we ground, and we anchor to the bottom of our energy field. Heaven, Eden, paradise, goodness, wholeness, eternality, through every bone and muscle of our beingness. We anchor it here, we anchor it now. And we allow that providential awareness to continue to illuminate our minds, and benevolence to always go before us. And it's from a place of deep thanksgiving that we just simply allow it to be. In agreement, we just say, and so it is. Amen. And as we come back, if you need a little extra grounding or balancing, if you want to take opposite hand to opposite knee and give a little squeeze, or maybe just push your feet in the ground, or whatever feels right to you. Some people take opposite hand to opposite shoulder. Just a way to balance the masculine and feminine energies. The lights are going to come up in the sanctuary, and I'm going to welcome you back. And it's been my honor and pleasure to be here. I consider myself more of a cruise director than anything else, just making sure that everything is good and right for your enjoyment. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, for those of you streaming in live, you know that we are Soul Center. We're a nonprofit 501c3 non-denominational spiritual community, or I wouldn't say trans-denominational and interfaith. And if you want to make a contribution to our meditation service, you're welcome to. All the ways you can do it up on the screen for those of you at home. It's just obviously, if it calls to you. There's a donation box at the back of the room for those of you who might want to make a contribution with cash or a check. Completely up to you. We're here on Wednesdays, and on Sunday we're here at 10 a.m. for a meditation service till about 10:25, and then at 10:30 we do an inspirational service. So you're welcome to join us on Sundays for our music and our message and our meditation service. On Sundays, we have other events. We have a daily affirmative prayer that takes place on Facebook Live and in the Zoom room, and we have retreats that we do. We've got other special events that we do. So it's a wonderful community. If you want to check us out on our website, soulcenteroc.com. And this concludes our formal meditation service. And peace and blessing.
Thanks, Rob.
So welcome back.